Ladies and gentlemen, the world's #1 sports and recreation podcast, Cheap Heat. I am your forever 24/7 birthday boy, Peter Rosenberg. That's right. Turning 45. A great number, one of the great numbers we've ever had.
Oof.
I know it's a big birthday, the 4-5 birthday. What can I say? Welcome to the show. Happy to be here. Joining us from Philadelphia, the physically large Statguy, Greg.
Happy birthday, Rosenberg.
You know, it was a subdued, controlled happy birthday from you, but I'll take it nonetheless. Let's see how Dipperstein does in Los Angeles. 37-37 Dipperstein.
Happy birthday. I hope it's a great day.
By the way, there is no worse Trump than Ebro. SGG, have you ever heard when he does it? No, it's like, it's so like, and he goes back to it. It's getting to the point that I like it. It's so bad that it's kind of good.
He's got the cadence, but he doesn't have anything else.
Anyone can do the cadence, but for the record, anyone can do the cadence. The key to you have to either have an extra layer of the cadence that, or you have to have the voice quality somewhat. Otherwise,
no, it's just Ebro's voice in the cadence.
It's just Ebro's voice in the cadence. I'm trying to think of
He's like, you're a loser.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Right. There's no attempt to do the voice.
Well, you added the growl. You only added the growl in the last year. The growl was new for you.
It's this?
Yeah.
Please don't be too nice. It's very little subtleties that take it from being nothing to something. It's a fun, and he's not the first president that everybody does. Who else did everybody do?
Clinton,
yeah.
Yeah, everyone did a Clinton in some way.
Yeah.
And Obama. Those are the three.
No, not Obama.
No, Obama not as much. I don't even remember how I did it. I don't even remember how I did my Obama. And I had one, but I don't remember how I did it. Well, no.
Yeah, it's like short.
Me and Michelle.
Yeah, me and Michelle. We thought about, but it's not good. He doesn't have as much to grab onto. Clinton, it was, I'm going to be honest with you. Just doing the overly
have sexual
relations. Now, but really, I was always just doing an impression of Phil Hartman doing an impression of, and that was true of a lot of them. Like the Reagan one, to go way back. Well, that was that was an SNL thing too. Like SNL very often sets the tone for how the impression is then done of the president.
I remember when I was a kid, and we would do Nixon.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that was my era.
Dip is going to hit you with a throwback. Dip is not going to.
Exactly. Dip, even though he was an infant, he was like, I
an
remember
infant,
hearing
dude.
No, well, pre-uterine.
I was way pre-uterine.
Nixon might have been dead by the time you were born.
No, Nixon was alive.
Was he alive in 87?
Yeah.
I think Nixon died in
the bucket.
I think Nixon died in the 90s.
93.
This is good trivia. Hard to remember.
I think he died in 92.
94.
Yep, it was 94.
Yeah. That's interesting. He was alive for 15 years he was alive for 15 years of my life, and I don't recall him as an old person at all.
When you're a disgraced president, you tend to go in hiding.
There's a few images of him at
Is
the
that
end
true,
of his
SGG?
life.
Sometimes you choose to do other things.
Well, that used to be true. The 21st century, all bets are off. Everything's unprecedented now.
There's a few images at the end of Nixon's life, specifically one where he's standing in the Oval Office with all of the existing all the living presidents, and he looks crazy, like a much more sort of like extreme version of himself. It's a crazy picture if you ever get a chance to see it. It's a really interesting picture.
Nixon's one of the few people who constantly looks like a cartoon version of himself.
Yeah.
At the end of his life, he really did.
Even more so.
Yeah.
Now, Dip, you know what?
Lights off above me.
Okay. Well, I had to ask you something, but I'll
okay, go ahead. Go ahead. No, please do.
Well, think about this. I'll set it up, and you can think about it while you're turning off the lights. Natalie for breakfast made me and her a pizza bagel.
Yeah.
And I want to get your thoughts on the pizza bagel and how you go about the pizza bagel. I'll leave you with that while you go turn off the lights. Now, SGG, I'll ask you, not being of a Jewish background, how much do you know about the pizza bagel? Is it part of your life at all?
No, not at all. Now the bagel is, the pizza is, but the pizza bagel, not at all. Not even like the bagel bites that will be in like the freezer aisle. I think they still make them.
I was just going to say bagel bites were the hors d'oeuvre of choice. In addition to Pigs in a Blanket, when I had people over for pay-per-views.
For wrestling, of course.
As a kid. Everyone loves the bagel. Everyone loves the bagel bites.
We love bagel bites. They're not big. They're very small, just a bite. Now, SGG said he has no experience with pizza bagels. None whatsoever.
That's
Natalie,
interesting.
I mean, Natalie shocked. Dip, what was your... Do you know how the pizza bagel was made, or did your mom just serve you a pizza bagel and you'd eat it?
She never really made me pizza bagels. It was more a bit like 3 or 4 bagel bites to equal the one pizza bagel.
Is it too late for me to call Child Protective Services?
It might be.
So do you ever make a pizza bagel for yourself?
No.
So have you really never had pizza bagels either?
No, I've had. I can't say I've never had a pizza bagel.
I know, but you said you have pizza bites.
Bagel bites.
You said you had bagel bites, that is.
But I feel like that doesn't count because I've had bagel bites. But
right,
I feel
bagel
like
bites
you're asking me about a different thing.
A bagel bite is a pizza bagel. It's the same thing.
It's a miniature. It's a miniature baby pizza bagel.
But I feel like there's a nuance that makes it different, like a cheese steak and a steak and cheese.
Right. Well,
to the untrained eye, it's the same thing. But
Natalie puts love into these pizza bagels.
Right.
How do you go about your day as a Jewish man after eating jalapeno peppers?
With all due respect to all of my brothers and sisters, I've done work with the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. A lot of people with stomach problems in this community.
Just a callback to a previous conversation we've had on Cheap Heat, by the way.
Not enough colitis?
No. That, with all due respect, means big disrespect is incoming.
But no,
go right ahead.
Not in this case. Not in this case. Okay. I just personally, while I'm getting older, and now that it's my 45th birthday, I'm not going to lie. When I take a trip, I travel with Tums. Like, I have made it to that stage of life. But that's not about me being like some Jew with a weak stomach. Like, I'm just, SGG, are you at that stage now too? Like, if you know you're going to be eating with your boys all weekend, you kind of got to like, if I'm having meat, if I'm having barbecue and drinking, I need Tums and stuff.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I'm sort of rock solid. Hold on. Natalie, you want to plug in here? Here she's plugging in. Natalie grabbed her own microphone. You don't get this every day. Nat?
Hey, guys. Did you miss me?
Oh, wow. Big pop. They were waiting for it.
I can't hear you guys, but I just want to say, if you've never had a homemade pizza bagel, you're missing out. It is truly a delight. It's not like the bagel bites that you might as well buy Elio's pizza if you're going to get a generic frozen pizza. I know. Elio's is mage. Anyways, all you got to do is just take a leftover piece of bagel, put some delicious tomato sauce. I put fresh mozzarella on this pizza bagel because it's a special day. Peter's birthday. Thinly sliced jalapenos. I bake it at around 375, 380. And then the last 2 minutes, I put that bitch on broil. Sorry. But I put it on broil because I want the little bubbly, crispy little edges of the cheese. You got to have that.
Yeah. Let me just reveal something to the audience here. All the options on the toaster oven, bake, toast, broil. I don't know what the hell the difference is. I put it on toast every time. I don't broil. I don't bake. I'm not doing anything other than just toast, and it goes to the highest percent. It goes to 400 on toast every time. I don't even know what broil means. I don't even know what
the hottest you can get. It's broiling.
It's a high heat. It gives you that bubbly cheese or that crust if you got a steak down there or some ribs down there.
Are you putting a steak in the toaster oven? Why do we need to broil something in a toaster oven?
You don't put it in a damn toaster oven. On the oven, it has a broil setting.
There's
a broiler in the bottom.
I don't cook, so I don't put anything in the oven. Everything I eat goes in the toaster oven. It's the most used toaster oven in Los Angeles.
You know what they say about your about using the toaster oven for everything? You know what they say? That's a cheap heat.
Literally.
Literally.
All right.
You don't use your oven?
I haven't put on that oven, and I mean, other people use it, or I'll heat up like.
What about bagel bites?
The bagel bites go in the toaster probably too.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
haven't had a bagel bite in a long time. I may have to have a bagel bite.
I don't have room for a toaster oven on my counter with everything going on there. With Natalie's air fryer that takes up half the counter. Although we use the air fryer for everything too.
Yeah, no,
I've never used an air fryer. Never used one.
The air fryer can be used for a lot of things. It's mage. It's great. And the broil, when I started using broil, was when I started making wings at home. When Natalie taught me how to make wings at home, you cook them on broil. You put them under, so give them a nice little char on the top.
At the end, though, you don't leave it up to the like you cook them.
No, you can use broil. Natalie, use broil for the whole time with the wings, right? It depends on the size of the wing, she says. But anyways, the broiler is useful. That's a cheap heat.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, listen, you're a single man who eats basically bars of poison for most meals every day.
Yeah.
Most things Dip eats is purchased at a CVS, or if he's in New York, a bodega, and has a sticker that says $4.69 on the back. That's what he's eating for most meals.
By the way, whatever it is.
God, we live in an insane time. No, we live in an insane time for everything. Its prices are. You buy a thing of fruit. Dip, are you ever buying? Do you buy any fruit?
Never bought fruit in my life.
You've never bought fruit.
I have never, except maybe cotton candy grapes.
The crazy thing is, I believe this.
I have bought cotton candy grapes a couple times.
Fruit of Jace, dude.
Seriously.
Candy plus Fruit of Jace.
Yeah. Talk about chemical.
By the way, if you're talking about buying fruit and the first words out of your mouth are cotton candy, you don't buy a lot of fruit.
Have you ever had cotton candy grapes?
Yes, we did a whole. We talked about them here.
They're delicious, but they are.
It's insane. It's the fake modification of the sedge.
It is a modification.
And wait, you've never in your home though, just got like plums or peaches or regular grapes or cherries or
bananas. The easiest fruit to buy is bananas.
I have never bought any fruit item and put it in my refrigerator or on my counter in a bowl.
Come on, man.
Once. Never once. I don't like fruit. I don't eat fruit. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like fruits and I don't like fruits and vegetables in general.
Okay, but vegetables, while it's stupid and childish, we can have a conversation about it because, like, at the end of the day, you know, it's hard to sometimes choose vegetables. Like, we can all realistically say that.
Yeah.
But you saying you don't like fruit, I mean, I thought SGG's Swedish fish taste was bad, or his not liking The Office. Not liking the fruit is crazier. Well, and he's not even not liking The Office, just not interested. Not liking fruit is. I mean, you've had mango and you weren't interested in having it again?
If it's sitting out and it's an option to grab a piece of fruit at like a event or someone else's house, I'll maybe grab something like that. But other than that, I have never bought it to consume it by myself, for myself. Never. Not once. I don't. It's never. I mean, I'd 10,000 times rather have a piece of string cheese than a plum.
But you know, but they're not. It's not an apples to apples comparison.
To me, it is
fruit, dude. You can't eat string cheese your whole life. What are you, permanently 6?
I love string cheese.
But like, do we have to call your mom? I mean, with all
she knows.
No,
she knows.
Both parents. This is a 2-parent.
No, but this is why I know his dad. I know his dad offered no contribution in terms of potential physical health.
My father used to grab an apple. He would grab an apple. But I've seen him grab an apple.
Your mom had fruit in the house, correct?
She did, yes. Once in a while, I would have a banana, or I would something with a waffle. The bananas with the waffle, which was good at the time, which is all good at the time. But now, left to my own devices, there's not a single fruit item in this house.
You have to pull it together. You gotta come on, man.
This is tragic.
Vegetable and there's not a vegetable you enjoy?
No.
What about a legume?
I guess I went to the monster truck rally this weekend and I did have some peanuts.
Okay.
Dip, if peanuts at the monster truck rally was as close as you're getting to fruits and vegetables, we've got major problems.
Let me
By the
tell
way,
you,
what the hell were you doing at the monster truck rally?
I went with people that you know, and let me tell you something. I have a completely different perception of what it was going to be before I got there, into as opposed to what it was.
I'll tell you what it definitively was. Loud.
It was loud, not nearly as loud as a NASCAR race. That's the loudest thing you've ever seen in your life. You have to wear earplugs at the NASCAR race. You have to. If you don't, it's a problem. Here, only the certain people, maybe 30% of the crowd was wearing headphones.
But you were not among them. You weren't in the headphone crowd, were you?
No, and they do all these activities with the trucks. As the only thing they didn't do, which I thought they were going to do, was crunch the cars. They didn't land on the cars.
They didn't?
No.
Isn't that the whole thing?
I thought that was the whole thing. They did races. They did jumping and
but
other
then they just landed
tricks,
on the ground. Right.
But there was no crunching the cars.
Oh, I went as a kid. I know I saw crunching. I saw crunching.
Usually there's crunching.
Although, you know what you probably sound like? You probably sound like someone who's like, my friend brought me to the wrestling matches.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
And I kept waiting for them to put someone through the table.
No one grabbed the steel chair.
Right. Yeah, there was never a chair.
Cage.
Yeah.
Although, by the way, SGG, there would never not be a steel chair. Speaking of which, let's get into some wrestling. So SGG,
many criticisms this week.
Do you want to? Are you just as excited and into the for no reason Terrence Crawford WWE T-shirt that you were into as the Jalen Brunson?
I think it's Mage, and now it's giving me a little hint, a little tip. Now that I've seen, if there's a celebrity there, and they're just in Gucci, Louis, Off-White, whatever the streetwear is, they're not getting involved. They're just there for the wave and the photo op. If a celebrity's there with some WWE merch.
So you like having it completely told to you. You don't like surprises at all. This is not only do you like the Thunderdome, you also don't like surprises. You only like to have it tell. Maybe
no, I like surprises. I like surprises, but I don't mind a celebrity sitting there in his merch and then realizing that, okay, something's about to get.
I would like to firmly say I disagree with you. I do not think that's dope. I'm not saying
that's fine.
No,
that is fine.
Even if we argue for selling the merch, how could you argue that you like seeing it because it means you know they're going to get involved? That's
part of what I like. The merch looks cool. These celebrities have some of the best designed merch on the shop, which is kind of crazy.
Dip, I imagine you land closer to me, or just don't care whatsoever.
I don't care about this. It means nothing. I have no opinion.
You have no opinion? Do you think that every celebrity who shows up as a guest should have their own WWE merch sold at the event? Or you just don't care?
I don't care.
Well, I'd like to say firmly, I do care. And I don't sell the merch all you want. Can you just not have it be that it's so, I mean, they did literally almost the same bit with Terrence Crawford that they did with.
It was close.
The only difference is, the people of Oklahoma City didn't care very much about what he did.
I don't think a lot of people know who Terrence Crawford is.
They don't.
Were they in Oklahoma City?
Yes.
That's the weird part. No one's buying the Terrence Crawford merch because they don't know who he is. He's not a
like Jalen Brunson is going to sell. Like that shirt's going to sell.
Yes, especially in New York.
Right. They were in Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, sorry. What did I say? Oklahoma City? Omaha, Nebraska. That's where he's from. Sorry. By the way, if that wasn't the most East Coast, it's all the same to me. I don't know what was. But yeah, he's from Omaha, wherever the.
Listen, I don't disagree, but somebody would have been upset that I didn't have a stat there.
All right. So without any further ado, I don't want to waste time here. Dip, you said you have complaints galore. Do you want to start on Friday or where do you?
I mean, I don't know. I need an end date on the luggage shots. I can't have them now for the rest of my. Am I going to be 65 years old watching wrestling, still watching the luggage? I need an end date to the luggage. That's number one.
Okay, I wouldn't plan on an end.
Number two, I can't have Gunther, the most imposing, scary heel of the era, okay, coming out in a black t-shirt, looking like a skinny, tall guy. I need the big jacket. Put this man back in gimmick. He's
But it's
coming out.
me, Gunther, and I'm here to party.
He looks like a regular guy in a black T-shirt.
No, he
Can't
looks
have
more
him.
like
Can't
he
have
looks
him
more
walking
like
out there.
he looks more like Space Leaf
Sprockets?
Sprockets. Yes, it's me, Gunther. I just like to party with my friends when they come to New York.
I can't have Gunther coming out in Sprockets, a Sprockets outfit. He's got to be in.
He's giving
gimmick.
it's giving Sprockets.
Sprockets at Jace. I mean, it was not. He's it didn't. That was not good. That was not good. I was totally worked by the Ilya Dragunov injury.
What else is new?
I was very, very nervous about Ilya Dragunov. He hit his head. It was a very intense spear he took from Braun Breaker. Very nervous. If Braun Breaker does not win the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam, they might as well just throw in the towel on Braun Breaker. SGG, what do you think about that?
I disagree with a lot of what you said. I don't think it's a waste if he doesn't win the Intercontinental Championship. Again, he's become more and more destructive every week, and that's
it's a similar destruction. I wouldn't say more destructive.
No, it's more and more destructive because look who he's destroying, right? Like the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov, has been indestructible this entire time to the point where he pushed himself to the brink and then walked away unscathed, and Braun just destroyed him and laughed it off and moved on. And this is like we've seen Braun do this to jobbers. We've seen him do it to Sammy. We've seen him do it now to Ilya, and he just escalates as needed to prove that he can destroy anybody on the roster. So I think that if he doesn't come away with the title, it's not necessarily damning as long as he continues this escalating path of destruction. And then Gunther, I don't mind him coming out in the regular black tee and cutting these promos because I think it gives him a little more character development than I'm the best wrestler. Like him talking down to Damian Priest.
How does him not coming out in gimmick give him more character?
Are you listening to what I'm saying? Like him not coming out in gimmick and fleshing out his personality and talking about his upbringing as a privileged person and that he's not going to apologize for that, and that Damian Priest is not only beneath him, but he's going to be the one to save the WWE Championship or the World Championship the same way he saved the Intercontinental title, and he can be the only one to bring prestige to it, and he's looking down his nose at everybody. That gives him a personality that people are going to be able to hate outside the ring. In addition to that, when the bell rings, I'm this ass kicker and this destroyer. And honestly, if he's going to be a world champion and carry the title, that's something that he needs. Because if he's going to have that title and go and do media and do things like the Damian Priest show that they announced and sit in front of an audience, he's not going to be able to come up there in his robe and his tights and just say that the mat is sacred. He's going to have to go out there and be a person that people are going to connect with, whether they connect because they hate it or they connect because they love it. But he's going to need that gravitas to ground him.
I don't see how him coming out in a t-shirt shows that he has a wealthy upbringing. You know,
because you're not listening to what he's saying.
I am listening to every word. I'm listening to every word. I don't need my mega heel coming out in a t-shirt. That's all. It just doesn't. It doesn't add to the aesthetic of the.
It's funny that you brought this up, Dip. I just said, I was like, I think my theme for this week is there is a wardrobe problem in WWE.
There is. By the way, it's more noticeable in this new era. Like someone is okaying different, like a lackness. Okay. In what these guys and gals are presenting themselves with in the ring, as far as
here are the back-to-back two that I saw, Dip. Here are the two that upset me.
Okay,
and this guy has a lot of stuff like this that I just don't get. Seth's outfit last night was just, I know that's his thing.
Oh.
I don't get it. I still don't get it. I've never fully gotten it. I don't get what that look means. Like I just don't connect with it. Yesterday he had the whole back showing. Like, I don't know. It's like, are you supposed to be androgynous? Because you don't really give that either. It's just like kind of in between everything. I didn't dig it. And then you talked about it for a long time with the mustache, but like the big vest thing that Dominik's always wearing, like a big leather vest.
I don't like it either.
Like, I don't know what it's I don't know what you're trying to present.
I don't
with
like
the
when
character.
he wrestles in it too, or like, I don't know, he gets beat up in it. It doesn't look good. And then the mustache is insane. The mustache is gross. It's got to go. He doesn't look like it just doesn't. I'll tell nothing I wouldn't say to his face. It doesn't look professional. Like it
Well,
looks
the mustache is like with the mullet. It's him being Eddie. It's an Eddie thing. 100%.
I think that's probably. I mean, I guess
100%.
I
don't know.
I don't get that with the Eddie
The
thing.
mustache is him being Eddie, though.
I don't know about that, but
well, I mean, what I think to SGG's point, what else would it be? I mean, mustaches are just in right now, stupidly. I mean, look at the city you live in.
So are
Dip,
mullets.
Yeah, I mean, bad stuff is in right now.
I think that
and Eddie had the mustache. Eddie had the exact
mullet.
same mustache mullet combo.
I think
that Dom has right now.
I think that Dom, as I said to him in person at the at the show, is a trendy guy. Okay, and I think him having the mustache and him having the mullet goes hand in hand with him wearing Louis Vuitton, and Gucci.
No, I know. I don't see why he didn't just stick with that when that was his thing. That's really heelish to always be kind of dressed in fancy stuff like he dresses in real life. But like instead he wears like what looks like this bizarre cowhide vest. What are we doing? It's SGG, I see you nodding your head on some of this. It's like I assume you agree with some.
I don't know what the cowhide vest is about.
But up and down, like there's a lot of people, they just don't have consistency, and that's why I can see even like SGG, you and Dip could agree more than you realize. You disagreed with Dip because he was focused on the look and you're focused on the words. But that doesn't mean that it was the optimal look for what you're trying to convey.
No, I think with Gunther it is though, because he's not a flashy guy. He's not. Like his entrance is basic. His gear is basic. There's not even any knee pads on it. It's like basic 1900s, like early 1900s wrestler. And so when he comes out and cuts a promo, it's always been basic. Like all of it has been basic, but what he's doing and what he's saying.
But just go sport coat. Just go nice sport coat over the tee. Like if he's supposed
he's done that before. He's come out with like a suit when it was time for him to celebrate.
But now this is his championship title storyline.
500th day as champion. He's come out with like a basic black suit, black tie, white shirt. He's never given like fancy because he's always been laser focused on his mission.
I don't know.
Fair. I think you could do better, but I hear what you're saying. I'm not saying there's no correlation. Like I do think there is some connection there. I just think up and down the board, there are a few little details that are being either accepted or looked over that impact the characters just a tad. What else do we come away talking about from Monday Night Raw? I guess the biggest headline yesterday would be, I don't know, is it the Liv? Is it Dom finally standing up to Liv?
I think there was a lot of takeaways from Raw. I think the Dom finally standing up to Liv. You had Jay and Sammy reunite, which that I think is going to be big for future plans in terms of when Roman Reigns comes back. Because people figured that, Jay was going to be involved in that. Cody is already involved in that. So if Roman is going to have to build a War Games team, I don't think it's an accident that we see Jay and Sammy together. They threw the ones up. They hit the 1D. So I think that this is going to be something that builds towards whatever future plans Roman Reigns factors into with this new bloodline on.
And by the way, I think Cody will be gone from that story by then.
It's possible, yeah. Because
I think it makes more sense. It makes more sense to SGG, like what you were just saying. It would make more sense that now you have Sammy back in that story and Cody's removed from it.
Yeah. The tricky thing is, Sammy and Jay are on Raw, and this has been a SmackDown story. So how do they weave that in is going to be challenging. Going to be interesting too, but yeah, they could do 5-1-5. I really don't know, but Sammy and Jay coming together is not at all an accident. And then the Wyatt Six, they finally are getting physical with Chad Gable and the Creed brothers, who seem to be taking the place of the Alpha Academy. And that pop when he hit that Sister Abigail,
That was dope. That was dope.
People have been waiting for that moment. and they rewarded Bo Dallas with a huge pop.
My issue is that Bo Dallas came out in the merch last week. I just don't. What are you doing? Don't come out in the merch, man. Like, where did he get that at the concession stand?
Yeah,
the merch stand?
He went and talked to the merch guy, and
said,
Uncle
"Hey,
Howdy,
they shouldn't even have merch."
He said, "There you are."
I was looking for merch for my weird, devilish, spiritual faction. I know this is where I run into issues. We have so much cool stuff going on. Do you need to overdo the merch immediately with a faction that is supposed to be from another world?
It's not how it works, man. It's not good.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's not how it works. It's not how
No macabre story.
That's definitely exactly how it works.
The final testament. The final testament shouldn't have merch. They're also from a different planet.
They dropped some new merch this week too.
By the way, I actually don't have a problem with people selling the merch. You just shouldn't be wearing it. Sell all the merch you want.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't even be aware of the merch. The Wyatt 6 shouldn't know there's merch.
How they going to sell the merch if the Wyatt 6 isn't showing us the merch in the segment?
Yeah, CJ, don't tell me you like when the wrestlers wear their own merch.
I have no opinion on it. I really don't give a damn.
I think it's totally out
of
kayfabe.
I don't think it helps it. I don't think it hurts it. I mean, it obviously helps it because every time Roman shows up in a shirt, I'm like, you know what? This is greatness on a different level. I think I am going to get that shirt.
Well, no,
it obviously helps.
If the shirt is part of the gear and you're selling the shirt as part of the gear, like the Hot Rod t-shirt or the Hulkamania t-shirt or whatever, then fine. But I don't know, man. I'm old school. I don't think that the wrestlers should know that their own merch exists. I think you just leave it to the fans to wear their shirts. I don't think they need to be hawking the merch. Even though, by the way, I know there's no way around this at this point, and I'm totally just being.
You're now 25 years ago. I mean,
and also the wrestlers have been hawking the merch, like you said. Hogan showed up everywhere with a Hulkamania shirt, like. It wasn't the gear, but like you said, it's.
But it was his gear. I mean,
Brett gave away the glasses that you could find in the catalog. Like,
no, it has always been there. I think though we're off the beaten path a little bit because we're off the path we should be on because that part is built into it. It's fine. It is, to me, it is what it is. But when you're doing it with characters who are supposed to be out of this world. That to me is stupid. It just doesn't need to happen. It takes me. Listen, isn't the point though that we're supposed to buy into it a little bit? Like, are we supposed to be winking through the whole thing? Hey, it's not real. Look, they're selling a shirt of it. I don't need it. Like, I don't need that. And listen, I don't know if that's the biggest problem facing the Wyatt 6. Let's have a real conversation. Was the Wyatt 6 thing that we were building? Did we think this was getting to the first big thing was going to be Chad Gable and the Creed brothers? I'm not saying it's not. Like, last night's segment worked. I'm interested. I'm interested to see what's going on. But this isn't where I thought we'd land.
I don't know why it's Chad Gable. I don't agree with it. Unless it's leading to something astronomical. I'm not feeling it with Chad Gable. Chad Gable has his own problems. Chad Gable is dealing with Otis
instead we've kind of like now separated that into a different thing.
That I don't mind though. Like, well, on the what's happening with the Wyatt 6 front, you know me. I'm gonna wait and see. But I know this. Every escalation they took has been made so far. I didn't really follow the QR codes because that would have required too much. For me, anyway, too much of the putting it together and guessing what this means. But once they hit the screen and they started handing out those VHS tapes and they did those vignettes and now we're getting physicality, I feel like it's all been made. And I don't know why Chad Gable. I'm assuming that's going to be revealed at some point and made more clear later.
I don't know, man.
Everything we've been getting on Raw so far from them, for me, it's been hitting. So I'm not gonna bail or even
I'm not
you
bad.
know.
It's the thing I'm most excited to see in wrestling right now is what they're going to do with this faction. And just like I felt the same way about the Fiend. I was like, what is the Fiend going to do this week? I feel the same way about this about this story. However, I just like it. Not to reiterate what I just said, and I disagree with you on purpose, but it doesn't feel like it's going to amount to anything interesting at this exact moment. I will wait and see too, and I will give it the benefit of the doubt because no one loves a macabre storyline more than me, and I love
the king of macabre.
I love factions, but the VHSs. I watch them all. I don't.
And last week's, man, with Eric Rowan,
but what I can gather from all of them is that they miss Bray and they're paying tribute to him, and they all have something in common, which is loss. That's really the only thing that I can gather. I have no idea why they don't like Chad Gable. Chad Gable has his own issues with Otis and Tizao and that story, and now he's got his two buddies with him, the Creed brothers, who I think are awesome, and I'm glad I like this. The Creed brothers versus Otis, and I like that situation. That's a cool story to me, but I don't know why or how the Wyatt Six factors into the Chad Gable of it all. Of course, I don't understand why it factors into the Pat McAfee of it all. I know that they want to promote it on his show, and his show has a lot of viewers, but to me, when you bring. Well, just let me finish the last point. When you bring in a giant, big reveal story, Bo Dallas is coming back as the new Fiend and this and that, whatever. To me, you got to put him immediately at the top of the card. They should have immediately attacked Cody Rhodes. They should have immediately attacked CM Punk. They should have immediately attacked one of the big baby faces and just make them like Mega Mage. And then you can work your way down the card with each of the members of the stable. But it should be Uncle Howdy versus CM Punk, or Uncle Howdy versus versus whoever. I'm just saying one of the top baby faces should be against this stable, not Chad Gable.
The reason I don't necessarily disagree with that, although I wouldn't have had Uncle Howdy versus CM Punk, but
maybe not Punk, but Cody.
But the reason I don't even know if I have it land in a match. I would have just had them involved with them.
Yes, involved, and then eventually
because here's the thing: unlike a regular story where you want to see the person have a place to go to and build their character, man, historically, with the exception of The Undertaker, these stories only have one trajectory. They get less and less interesting as time goes on. The more you're exposed to them, the less there is to do. So I don't know that you're going to start with Chad Gable and the Creed brothers and then build your way up and get to where they're then going after the Judgment Day or the Bloodline or Cody and Randy. Maybe they will. But I hear what Dip's saying. I said to him yesterday, when these guys showed up and it was the biggest thing in the world, Chad Gable was not what I had pegged.
I don't mind them being involved with Chad Gable, though. I think it adds to the idea that these stories can be interconnected. So, I don't necessarily think they're there to defend Otis and Maxine and the Alpha Academy, but I do like for Chad Gable that he has these two storylines running parallel to each other that at points, like last night, they intersect. And then at other points, like last week, he has to fully focus on the Wyatt Six, or he has to fully focus on the Alpha Academy separately. And I don't even know if you get to still call them the Alpha Academy. They left their coach. They're going to have to get another name. But I like this for Chad Gable, this fact that he's trusted to hold down these two storylines at two different levels of the card that are ultimately developing him more. And the Creed brothers are getting thrown into it. And it's giving them more exposure instead of just, fire tag team match on the card that doesn't amount to anything, which is where they were 6 months ago. And I think even for the Wyatt Six, it's given them some time to develop their character without throwing them right in at the top at a CM Punk. And then if that happens, I guarantee you we really all will be like, well, what's going on? Because Punk has been focused on Drew and Seth and embroiled in a blood feud this whole time. and then you really have a story that's getting distracted from. I don't think it was any
I didn't mean like
sacrifice
literally.
to put him in.
You know,
But no, if you put them at the top of the card, you think these guys at the top of the card not doing anything right now? Maybe you
I
can
mean,
slot
I
him
mean,
in with the
I
Damian
didn't say that.
Priest.
But does Cody have a real story right now that he couldn't have been the one getting attacked?
Yeah, he's already got you want 2 groups with their foot on Cody's ass. The Bloodline is beating him down every week,
Yeah, I
as
know.
they have been since Mania.
Yeah, I know. I just don't like that story either. I don't like
Yeah,
that
I
story
mean,
for
I
Cody.
gotta
I don't get it. I don't like Cody with. To me, it feels like a hodgepodge of baby faces just up against a faction while waiting for Roman to get back.
that's exactly what it feels like to me.
Cody's filling space. Your number one guy in the company is kind of filling space.
I don't really
in my opinion.
understand what the Bloodline's motivation is at this point, right now, at this moment, other than to beat people up. They don't have like a clear, like Solo is like the only object for them at this moment is to prove that Solo is in charge. Other than that, it's just they're just beating people up like wrestlers do. I
have to disagree with you there, and I have to, no disrespect, but if you're gonna say that you don't understand what Solo's doing, then I have to say that
I know what he's doing. That's not what I said. I know what he's doing.
You said you don't understand why he's doing it, or
No,
what his motivation.
No, he
is.
said the only thing
That's
he's
not what I
doing.
said.
He said the only thing he's doing is asserting power over.
No, but I have to disagree with that notion, because they told you as soon as Roman disappeared and left from WrestleMania, when Roman was there, he said that this championship is how we feed the family. This championship, he established what the title meant, not just to him, but to the family. He's the tribal chief, and that's why he needs a championship. Solo is now trying to take Roman's spot in all respects. That's why he has an enforcer. That's why he has a tag team of brothers. That's why he has the Ula Fala. And that's why he's zeroing in back on this championship, because it's not just to assert power and whatever. It's because he is establishing that now that he is the tribal chief, these are the things he needs. He's literally moving through a checklist, and Cody has the title. Even at WrestleMania, right? You saw the look that Solo gave to Roman when Cody kicks out. He's like, finish him. What are you doing? So it's basically like him stepping up and saying that he's better than Roman, which he also has said on screen. And to prove that, again, he needs to move through this checklist, put together a crew that's bigger and better and stronger than the crew that Roman put together, and do the thing that Roman couldn't do, which is keep the title off of Cody Rhodes. He's not going to get to do it. The story's going to go somewhere else, I believe. But at SummerSlam, he's going to attempt to complete that mission, which he's made clear as the mission since the Friday after Mania.
I take the belt off Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. Give it to Solo.
That's the hottest take you gave all day.
Well, no, I mean, that's the one you approve of because you're a Bloodline.
No, I didn't say I approved of it.
I know, but I could see it got you Bloodline horny when he said it. I could see it.
No, it's just interesting. It's just interesting. It's the one that I don't have like immediate.
It is unique. That would be an interesting. Yeah. But by the way, to me, the fact that you even had that thought and the fact that SGG even had that reaction is exactly what the problem with the storyline is to me.
No, but you're
sorry. I love Solo. I love Solo, but Cody being the punching bag for Solo for 3 months is a weird story.
You're reading into my reaction. I'm not saying I agree with it.
No, I'm not saying you agree with it or disagree with it. I'm saying the fact that it would even be an interesting thought to me is exactly what I'm saying about why I don't love this story for Cody. I mean, you just gave me all the reasons why if I break down the Bloodline story like it's Game of Thrones, every little thing matters. But on a week-to-week basis, it just feels like the Bloodline are running roughshod. They want the title. They beat up Cody every week. Cody has teamed up with other random baby faces who are his friends in babyfacedom.
That's all. That's all this is.
That's what it feels like to me.
The random baby faces though also have their issues with the Bloodline and Solo in particular. The Bloodline took out Randy Orton for 18 months, shaved years off of his career. He's protecting Cody from that. KO, we saw what the Bloodline did to KO. Solo in particular, 4 championships.
KO's been beat up by everybody in the Bloodline.
Yes.
And by the way,
yes.
I've been
KO is
sick
the one
of KO in
person
the Bloodline. I've been sick of KO in the Bloodline. I was sick of KO and Sammy in the Bloodline by the time they were done. And then by the time they stopped being a tag team against the Bloodline, now we've gotten another God knows how long of KO in the Bloodline. I never think he's going to beat the Bloodline. I never do.
This needs to end with Bloodline versus Bloodline. And
Well, it
that's
will.
I'm sure, but that's what we need to see. In this moment, like you said, Peter, waiting for Roman to come back. That's clearly what's happening, which is fine. They're biding their time for the big baby face pop for Roman Reigns. I'm totally fine with that. But it needs to amount. I love the idea of a War Games with 8 Bloodline members and Paul Heyman at the center of it. That's a big pay-per-view to sell. Big. So I'm hoping that happens. And that's what I'm hoping this leads to. And I'm all for it, including with the Rock.
The only part that I'm not into is the role that Cody's played. And while SGG, you made a compelling case for why we got there and what the history is, and you clearly do better numbers on all of those things than me or Dip, week to week, I still feel like, why is the dude feel like enhancement talent? Like in these matches, like and where's it going to go? Where's it going to end for Cody? He's going to reign. Is he going to beat them?
Yes.
Yeah.
So at SummerSlam, he'll get his win back over the Bloodline.
Roman's going to interfere in the match and cost Solo the match. Whether it's a distraction or it's physical, something will happen with Roman costing Solo the match. Cody will end up with the title walking out of there, obviously.
And then he gets away from the Bloodline.
And then he gets away from the Bloodline, and there's a new challenger in some capacity. I don't know who that is. I think
he has to get away from the Bloodline, though.
I hope it's Uncle Howdy. I hope Uncle Howdy is the new challenger.
That would be something.
Jimmy that cost Solo the championship. I don't think it'll be Roman. Roman has no. Well, actually, Roman has a little incentive because Solo did just destroy Paul Heyman, but Solo actually orchestrated a beatdown on Jimmy, and that was the last time we saw him. And Jimmy,
true,
3 times already has cost his brother that championship. The brother in question was Jay previously, but I think that's Jimmy's MO, is just like, my brothers are never going to get this title because it corrupts them. That's his words. So I think Jimmy's going to be the one that we see pop up and cost Solo the title. And then, the reunion of the Bloodline starts to slowly trickle out from there.
All right, I think we made some progress here. We got somewhere. And I don't want to overstate. It just hasn't been my favorite for Cody recently. That's all. By the way, I just learned as we're recording the great Jimmy Carter has passed away at 99 years old.
Ooh. Speaking of presidents,
hell of a run for Jimmy. Responsible for one of the great moments ever in my life, even though it had nothing to do with me, when my friend Young Sav, and if you've listened to the K Show, you've heard me play the audio before. When Young Sav saw Jimmy Carter, Jimmy Carter, Dip, I don't know if you probably know this, whenever he flew commercial and he greeted everybody on the plane, that. And that my friend Young Sav was filming as Jimmy Carter came by and shook his hand. And as Jimmy shook his hand, my friend Sav on camera quietly, doubt Jimmy heard it, but still, as he shook his hand, says, "What's up, Jimmy, baby? You good?" That greeting to the President of the United States is, and by the way, he means it like instance. It's capturing just what naturally came out of his mouth when he reaches out. Jimmy shakes everyone's hand. Yo, Jimmy, what's up, baby? You good? And I guess as of today, he's good in the heavens. You take 99. No one's turning away 99.
No.
Nah.
And his wife passed recently.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's actually, it's kind of like great. He got 99 and he only had to stick around without his wife for a few months, 6 months.
About 6. Yeah.
It's within the year for sure.
Yeah,
right?
It is within the year.
I mean, honest, that's as good as I think you could get. And and Jimmy Carter was doing things up until fairly recently, the last couple of years. Yeah,
he was big with Habitat for Humanity, right? Building houses and
that was a good
work.
Bro, that was a good man. Rest in peace, Jimmy Carter. President of my birth. President at my birth, Jimmy Carter. Oh.
Yeah, I had Reagan.
I know. What can you do?
Unfortunately,
yeah. 87.
Well, good. So happy to meet you, Dipperstein. Since we're doing bad,
do your Gerald Ford.
I don't have a Gerald Ford. I don't have a Carter either. I know Carter's like a Southern impression too. I don't have that either.
Do you have a Coolidge?
Big Coolidge.
Do you
Big
have a
Coolidge.
McKinley?
Oh my God, my McKinley. I don't do it all the time.
Can you imagine
No,
that?
Ty
That'd be a
Hoover?
good SNL sketch, by the way. Like back in who was doing like impressions
way,
of
no.
presidents in the 1800s.
And by the way, because no one knows what they sound like, people do like they introduced the sketch by saying this is going to be the most realistic portrayal of more presidents than have ever been done. And then you have a few good ones that are like recent, and And then when it gets to Herbert Hoover, he's like, "Skiddly-doo, I'm Herbert Hoover," because nobody knows what these people sound like.
Yeah, or it's like, I'm Herbert Hoover.
Hey, it's me, John Quincy Adams.
Yeah, that's funny.
Martin Van Buren here, checking in with my friend. I mean, how would we ever know?
Yeah, no, you won't.
No. Andrew Johnson, not a great guy.
No.
All right, that's it for the dip.
I'll be waiting. I'm assuming this is the birthday where Dip will get the 24/7 championship framed. All right, so we had a good chat about not only former presidents and the Cody Rhodes storyline of it all. How do we feel about at this stage on Tuesday, July 23rd? Are we happy with where we are with the Liv and Dom storyline? Is it dragging a little bit too much time to get to what is going to happen here? How did you feel about the Liv walk-off crying yesterday? Which, like, I assume was supposed to look sort of over the top.
Yeah.
Like she
as
was,
everything has been done.
but like she was selling it, I think, as over the top.
You asked the question, right? Like, is it dragging? I feel like, I don't know if it's dragging, but I was not expecting the twist of Dom so emphatically rejecting Liv. I didn't expect that.
Oh, you thought it would stay sort of unclear.
Yeah.
No, but he has to. He has to show Rhea that he hates her. You know what I'm saying? I think that's how I took it. I took yesterday as him going over the top. He won Rhea back over. It ended with Rhea licking him for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. There no kissing, just licking.
Yeah.
Maybe so he goes over the top, wins Rhea back over. He tells Liv, I hate you, so everyone knows he hates her and they're done.
Mm-hmm.
And then at SummerSlam, he is going to screw Rhea over, and him and Liv are finally going to give us the nasty makeout that everyone's been waiting for.
Well, we got like a few days, right? Like 10 days.
Yeah, but that's what you imagine happening here, right?
I think so. I think so. I mean, I feel like they could have stood to be in limbo a little bit more. So we question Dom's allegiance, but I hope you're right. I hope it is him, putting his foot down and jumping ship on Rhea, just because to me that feels like the more interesting story than everything being all good in the Judgment Day.
Yeah, no, it can't be. And I will say, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens after Rhea and Dom implode, because the Judgment Day is like hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
I mean, SGG, I have to imagine Priest loses the title at SummerSlam.
I think you're right. I do. But, Priest is giving a valiant effort, I have to say. And listen, maybe it's because I too am what Gunther would call street trash. But I'm buying into the idea that Priest can beat Gunther. I am. All signs are pointing otherwise, right? Because when they announced Bash at Berlin, the idea that everybody had was Gunther is going to win the title there. Then when they said the King of the Ring gets a title shot at SummerSlam and Gunther was in the King of the Ring, then it was just like, oh, he's going to win the King of the Ring. He's going to win the title at SummerSlam. He's going to walk into Berlin as the champion. So it's looking like it's going to play out that way. But salute to Damian Priest, because he's making me believe that he's not going down, let alone not going down without a fight.
So if Priest does lose and Rhea loses to Liv and Rhea and Dom break up,
That's right.
we're kind of just left with a tag team.
And Carlito. Don't forget about Carlito. Do not forget about Carlito.
The Judgment Day has been the ultimate faction of just like hanger-oners who are not quite in the faction till they are.
Yeah.
Like now JD we would say is fully in.
Yeah.
But
he bought gold to the Judgment Day.
Yeah, so like eventually he got there.
Yeah.
Carlito maybe
he didn't make the shirt. I don't think he's on any Judgment Day merch.
Let's see. That's a great point. So you're saying Terrence Crawford got a shirt before him?
Yeah.
Where the hell did my damn? Because I don't. Let's see. JD McDonough. When I typed in JD McDonough, it is only signed pictures and cards.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
When you type in Judgment Day, even the shirt that they wear with all the names on it, I don't think JD's name.
No, it wasn't. That definitely wasn't the.
Like they didn't even add like the purple tape with his name on it.
I like the New Day shirts, by the way.
Oh, the like neon unicorn sign?
Yeah. I mean, it feels a little late for a new Judgment Day shirt. It's crazy how similar all the Punk shirts are, by the way.
Yeah, it's the Chicago flag and the wrist tape with the red X.
He's always been
that has to be on every shirt.
He's been nothing if not consistent when it comes to the merch. All right, so Friday we will bounce back on Patreon. I'd like to catch up a little bit on. We still didn't spend much time with the new moves of MJF getting the international championship and the latest developments there. And by the time we do the show on Friday, we'll just be a week out from SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
And my return
of MJF
and a week off of MJF. My return to a PLE. I will be in Cleveland town.
How you feeling about that? Are you excited, or should we save that for Patreon?
We can talk about it on Patreon. Yes. The answer, short answer, yes. Definitely excited. Definitely ready to get back to work. But also it's interesting. I haven't had this much time away from it. It'll certainly be fun to get back. And listen, it's a different time. It'll be interesting to see what it feels like. Because like really, the TKO era really began after WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That was like really the beginning of this new era.
Yeah.
And while I've contributed from a distance since then, I have not been like working on site since then. So I'm looking forward to it.
You know what you just did, right?
The
people of the Cheap Heat universe, our listeners who tune into kickoff shows,
countdown shows.
Thank
you.
You ruined your surprise return.
Oh.
This is where the big boys play, huh?
You told them it's out. Do you even like surprises?
That's the Cheap Heat.
I can't believe I did it. They were going to just turn on their TV and go, "Oh, our guy's back."
Yeah.
That's the Cheap Heat.
Damn it. You're absolutely, listen, when you're right, you're right. We've gone full circle.
Surprise.
Also, what happened to Emilio Sparks today? We don't know.
No, we don't know. Has he been taken by the Wyatt Six?
By the way, listen, Gable was surprising. Them going after Emilio, only slightly more surprising. I never thought about the Creed brothers, so who knows? Yeah. It's a yoga doing Staten Islandite. Staten Islander.
They might need a yogi on the Wyatt Six. They might need him.
All right, everyone. We appreciate you all. I'm going to enjoy myself today. And stay mage, SGG.
Happy birthday, P.
Thanks, man.